teapot. Come on in, Dom and Eric, let it begin. First and third Tuesday evening light. We bring the stories, we keep it right. PAECT pod, PAECT pod. Tune in, stay a while. PAECT pod, PAECT pod. Live on Tuesday night. Yeah.
We got you stretching out a little long anticipated wait there. What's going on, man?
Yeah. Got practicing my touchdown signal because preseason has started and the Steelers are an offensive juggernaut.
Oh, man.
Mike McCarthy, the quarterback whisperer, he's making me a believer.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's interesting stuff going on. Okay. I mean, you remember there was this coach once in this place back then called the Redskins, who won every preseason game 45, 54, 62 nothing, and then threw a goose egg regular season. So just be careful. Yeah. Just be careful.
I know.
Little Shanahan history there. Yeah.
I'm just saying, previous coach, he was happy if he could get a safety, he would try and hold that 2-point lead and win 2-0, right out the next 4 quarters with 2-0. Coach McCarthy seems to be offensive minded. I know Dallas was an issue, but we don't talk about Dallas because we're Steeler fans. No offense to the Dallas viewing audience.
That's history.
We don't, we're 3-1 against Dallas, 2-1.
Okay. All right. You get them where it counts, right? Where it matters. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Malik Willis, I guess, had a pretty good game, and been seeing some Fernando tape and watching some stuff, and try not to get too excited about it. But hey, it is what it is. It's preseason. You're working things out, and we're in a building stage down in Miami. So I've been talking with that new head coach there and working on that. So he's taking some pointers. We'll see. We'll see how that rolls.
I mean, well, you better talk to him. They're a beast of a running back, A-Chain or a chain.
Yeah, A-Chain.
Playing like he's your best weapon. Why is he in preseason?
I know you and I were talking about that. They got to get him ready because he is going to be workhorse of 2026. So
I mean,
he's
Bill
Cowher,
former Steeler coach, famously said, "We're going to run him till the wheels fall off," and sometimes that happens sooner rather than later.
That's
so
it.
Preseason is not the time to let his wheels run his wheels off of him.
I agree with that. I had it's okay. I know what's going on.
We got it back.
Oh, okay. I figured it out. All right. So I did have a coach that I coached with many years ago, and we were up in the press box, and that was before I was anointed with the ability to have headsets on, and that we're running, and that coach is just Eric, we got to feed the horse. We got to feed the horse. What are we doing trying to throw the ball? Feed the horse. And he was not wrong. Sometimes you just outthink yourself and outcoach yourself and try to get crazy with strategy, and that is not needed. So, so you got to be careful with some of those scenarios. So, yeah.
I know Pittsburgh was notorious for that with, if it was, 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 8, they would notoriously throw the ball 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, or take a shotgun snap in a pistol formation, hand the ball off 6 yards behind, because that would trick the defense because they had to get 3 yards. So they'd start 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Trying to the old subterfuge. And it very rarely worked.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I think it was Leon. Was it Leon Horde? I can't remember. It was a fullback from Baltimore. Sometimes you got those guys and they just tell you, they say, Coach, and this was a true quote he had on TV. They're talking to him and they said, what do you expect to do this year? And he's talking to the person. He goes, I'm going to go up to Coach and be like, Coach, you need 2 yards? I will get you 5 every time. And he goes, then I'm good. And they're like, oh, that's amazing. That's awesome. He goes, yeah, but wait. I'm going to look at it and say, Coach, you want 10 yards? I will get you 5, guaranteed. He goes, I know my limits. You give me the ball when you need 2, when you need 3, not beyond 5. True fullback right there.
Yeah.
That's funny. Good stuff. Yeah. So Steelers rocking it. And Dolphins doing what they're doing. And just, there's a little noise happening. So it's good to have football in the air and all that jazz. And and we got good weather. I know we have, in servicing kick in. So I was there Monday, but today I did drive up to the Haven, Lock Haven University for my daughter had an orientation. So I had to drive up for that. And she did that and then drive back and get some more college shopping going. And I think you had your daughter head off, right?
Yes, she went up Sunday. She's a mentor up at Slippery Rock.
Yeah.
So she works with the freshmen. She went in Sunday. And we missed the rain. It was good.
It was bad.
I hit rain the whole way from State College after the board meeting to pretty much Clarion. Penn West Clarion, but it's the town of Clarion. And then as soon as we finished getting stuff in the room, storms rolled in. I mean, we had stuff in storage up there, and where I live is storms are about a half hour or so off, and my phone was blowing up with severe storm warning, U.S. Weather Service severe storm warning, and the clouds rolled in, and we didn't get the hard storms. We got a good bit of rain.
Yeah.
But, it was we lucked out because carrying stuff in the rain is not fun.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, so that was good. Yeah, there was a gnarly little rain. I know driving home from State College, the visibility was just horrendous. And definitely wear you out when you're in the road there. But so you got college in the air. When are you guys back? Next week?
Well, floating in service started yesterday. I got 4 hours in. Hence the race of the regions, the race to the school year going on.
Okay.
Southwest region champions.
Talking about
every year. I think we are undefeated.
I think those files were lost. There was a recovery issue, and
like the 72 Dolphins, undefeated. 4 seasons, I think 3 or 4 seasons.
Calm down. Watch the blood pressure. Watch the blood pressure. Calm down.
Yeah, I have testimony.
You gotta
Yeah, but no, it was, went in yesterday. I was supposed to go in. I was going to go in today, but I had meetings that ended up getting canceled.
Yeah.
So I stayed home, did the major push with all this rain we've been getting. I cut grass right before we went up to the meeting. It's not even been a week, and it was chest high on Charlie. She was not happy walking through the grass at night and in the morning. So laid into it today, and like the weeds in the garden and stuff, I had it fairly well combated, and it's out of control. So I spent the day doing stuff like that, and did get a little bit of pool relaxing time. There's like a few days of that left.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at my my pool with all this stuff I got going on. Not pool, my grass. Got to get that. I cut it right before the meeting, come back, and it's like a jungle. So I just got to wait till tomorrow and get that cranked out. But
yeah, are you guys
all
back
right, man?
now?
So we're back in.
Mandatory.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So yesterday, today, and tomorrow in servicing. Tomorrow, our 7th grade and 9th graders coming for a half day. I think kindergarten does too. And then Thursday, whole district is online. They're live. So
nice. Yeah. So our mandatory doesn't start till next week. So we have 5 days to get in 7.5 hours. Got some stuff taken care of. I'm going tomorrow and hopefully finish out. And Thursday's the Northwest Pennsylvania STEM ecosystem meeting. And hopefully Friday's a relaxation day. Then we get mandatory in service next week, and the kids come Thursday.
All right.
And Meg Tyson's second day with students already. Early start.
A less wet day for them. They had the nice storm the other day. And we kicked things off with Tom Murray, so I got to get a selfie and send that out to our nerd, Northeast Regional Director. I got to chat with him a good bit, so he did a great job kicking it off with Authentic and Personal. So it was awesome doing that. But all right, so we're in August. August 18th. My sister's birthday was yesterday, so I got to heckle her.
Happy birthday.
Yep. And so the 18th looks like it's too far away to be the first Tuesday. and I don't think I had to see you online last Tuesday, so I guess it's the it's the third Tuesday.
Third Tuesday.
Well, I know we've been talking about it. Why beat around the bush? Think it's time for
The PAECT pod.
let's roll it. Welcome to the PACT Pod A show for educators by educators. PACT is a 100% volunteer-run organization in Pennsylvania and
beyond.
My name is Eric Verno. I am the past president of PACT, and with me, as always, my co-host
Dom Salvucci. I am the current president of PAECT.
Excellent stuff. So we are looking at episode 106, setting up your digital classroom. Yeah, so we got a lot of things to talk about, and as far as digital classrooms go. So what do you guys use as far as your tech behind the scenes for your LMS and stuff, Dom?
Our LMS is Schoology, or as my blue friend Megamind says, Schoology.
Or back in the day, everybody used to say Schoolology.
Yes. So we use that, and then some teachers use Clever. For me to use Clever, I'd have to switch on my logins. So I have the kids use Google Login through the district. And I have a bunch of tools on the back end I use whenever the kids have to log into things. So that's what I'll be cleaning up this week. I got Schoology set up yesterday when I was in, and we use Edgenuity as our online platform for our virtual students, our Lions Online Academy.
Okay. All right, yeah, and we do a lot with Google Classroom, but we actually pulled in. We're doing some work with. I think I saw something. I think it was doing some Clever. They're tightening some stuff up in the back end. I've been seeing some emails float around with the different ITFs in our building, and we're not using like the scans or anything like that. But yeah, so our main LMS is Google Classroom, and it's kind of been a bottom up because like the elementary, our intermediate school kind of trickled up to the middle school, and our high school uses Windows PCs, but majority of the teachers they're not using Teams or anything. They're using the Google stuff. So yeah. That presents its own scenario. I don't know. I think Schoology has a little bit better with organizing things than some of the others.
Yeah, I mean it works. I have to say, if you didn't have an online presence before COVID, when we went into Schoology, it was easier for people. If you had an online presence, because we were the Wild West before then. We had I used Edmodo. We had teachers still using like forms of like Moodle type things. Some teachers used Schoology, the free version. Other teachers used Google Classroom. I mean, when I first started, Google Classroom looked more like a Google Doc in usage. And there was like a bunch of other forms. I've had a online classroom for years. So I've just kind of pulled stuff around. So if you're new to it, you could build from the ground up. If you had a bunch of stuff created, you had to start from scratch and unlearn the other tools to relearn this. But
yeah, and actually, the way you say about Google Classroom, it's 100% correct. It wasn't created to be an LMS, and they actually were very vocal that it was not an LMS. But so many schools adopted it, and they were using it because a lot of, like, again, Pennsylvania, we're very Google centric as far as a Commonwealth and spread across. So that was kind of a scenario where they were not purposely trying to fly the plane and then build the airplane while it was flying, but they were just kind of thrust into it, and then did a lot, catching up and doing things and seeing what other again, it's all we always talk about. It's the all of a sudden Microsoft, then Apple, then Google, then it's a hopscotch scenario. So seeing what everybody else was doing and updating.
Chromebooks led them right into that because they were pushing iPads, and I remember CFF, Lenovo, or MacBooks, and they had those cheap little white MacBooks. Mm-hmm. And then Lenovo upped their game, and it was cheaper to run the Lenovo computers. And then the Chromebook came out, and COVID hit, and perfect storm for them. Everyone wanted Google because it synced automatically with their system.
Sure. Now we're going to have somebody post in the comments, how Dom says it, or is it Lenovo? I don't know. I've always said Lenovo, but I'm like, oh, good thing they're not a sponsor and we're butchering their name. But if they become a sponsor, we will learn your name.
Yes.
So yeah, you're right. But and then now, so you got the Chromebooks, you've got what is it? I think the Google's calling it the Pixel Book. They're trying to make it a little bit nicer, a little flashier, to kind of go with the MacBook Neo, because they put that out, although that jumped up $100, but still a great price point. And Windows is trying to come out with their versions. And they're actually working on, I think we talked about this last show, but they're working on cleaning up and streamlining a lot of their OS, because right now with all the RAM prices going up with data centers because of AI thing, the prices are sky high. So it was, I think MacBooks were kind of the same way. Like 16 gigs of RAM was like your base, and then you would go from there.
Yeah.
Where back in the day, it was like 1 or 2 to 4. You were hopeful to get 8, and now they're trying to, like, Windows is trying to make sure that you can run it on 8 gigs of RAM. But I mean, Mac's kind of in the lead because of, they create their own chips, kind of a thing, and they do all that back end. So it's, a whole different story. So yeah, makes it different. But yeah, sorry. Let's get on this, setting up your digital classroom. What's Dom's tip number 1? What do you got?
Go in, make a list of the tools that you think you're going to be using, and clean that up. I make classes for each period every year. I archive them, and then I go in and create the classes for this year once I have my schedule and what's going on. Mm-hmm. And then I just have like a Google Doc with a cheat code. Like, here's the logins. Certain ones you have to be careful, because certain online tools, the join code that you or the link that they have is only active for so many days, so you can't set it up too far in advance. But I'll go through and I'll set that up. And actually, that's the first couple weeks of my classes. We start getting into content. We'll do a little bit of, meet the teacher type things, couple games. I get to work with the kids with stuff. But my first 9 weeks, I tell them your grade's going to be padded, because you're going to be signing up for the different tools we use. And I give you 5 points. Sign up for the tool. And then when you sign up, put your username. And if you're using your school Google account, put that. And then write your passwords down somewhere if it's an email. And then you use a different password. You don't have to give me the password, but use a different password. That way, I said, there's going to be a time whenever I'm not going to be in school, or you're going to be at home and you're going to try to access something and you can't remember your login. Go into that assignment. There's your login information if you can't reach me. So I start going through, and that's what I'll be doing tomorrow and next week in services, organizing all that stuff. Clearing out old files and, redoing some stuff. I've been working over the summer on using AI to go through and make some of my activities more interactive and getting some ideas and bouncing ideas around. So this will be cleaning up all the different tools that I use and see if there's any that I'm not going to use and any new ones I'm going to pull in. That's pretty much my process this time of the year. How about you?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm going to do a very, hold on a second. I'm just trying to find my right thing here, but I'm going to do a low tech scenario first. All right. Just be a little different, because I actually was reading an article. This one tech journalist was talking about how he was overproductive one day, and he was working really hard doing some stuff. And then he realized, like, wow, I worked like an hour and a half longer than I normally do. And he talked about getting tired and having issues with, being able to keep his focus, looking online. And so here's like the unofficial, right? This isn't really tech focused, but we had the opportunity to meet the gentleman at ISTE. I think it was 2 years ago. All right. But the company is Gunnar, Gunnar, right? Gunnar. And they make some amazing Bluetooth glasses. So
not Bluetooth, not Bluetooth. They're the,
oh geez. What am I trying to say? Blue light, right?
Yeah, blue light. They filter the blue light.
Hey, it's been a long day driving 6 hours in the car. But yeah, so glasses that take care of the blue light, right? So they're filtered, very comfortable. These are just generic. You can get them with prescription, the whole deal. They're not a sponsor, but just throwing this out there. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I remembered about it. I said, Dom, do you remember those glasses that, the guy gave us a set to kind of check out? So they got a lot of different things going, but Gunner, blue light glasses. So just definitely something for you to look at, as well as everything else. So, and then, again, speaking of the concept of working with Google, and the fact that we are a Google house. So I'm trying to pull up just to show give me 1 second. Because I'm blanking with the name. I think it used to be the keyword blog, they used to call it back in the day. But now they have it just a workspace updates.google blog. All right, so let me share the screen here. Because again, keeping up on how things are changing is pretty important.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So right here, and I apologize, I don't have the dark filter on. As far as blasting it a little bit. All right. But as it's walking through, and if you've been in, there is a great change to your classroom. So I'm just using this because I don't want to I don't have any data, nor would I show it necessarily. But now they have it like plain sight. They're showing you, what items are being worked on. They're trying to pull out insights in your classroom. But one concept, the reason why I wanted to show this is there's this little double arrow, pointing at it. Mm-hmm. So when you're looking at this, if it's just drastically different for you and you don't like it, you can remove it. So just clicking over to what I have generically set up right now. If you don't like this area and you click it, now it pushes it down. All right, class insights. I'm not ready for class insights. You can get rid of it. Feature spotlight. Obviously, they're trying to say, hey, here's how Gemini can be used in your classroom. Set up gems for students to dive deeper. I'm not ready for that yet. Again, tuck it away. And then just like before, you add your classes and you have your different things set. So I just we have our different sections that we have. All right, so I have that all going live in there. And then, I did a lot with pulling in Canva. I like to make my headers unique. Give it we go by color sections. But whatever your theme is, get into Canva, go and look in the Google headers. And it's really just nice to be able to pop in there and pull your information in and looking at, I wanted to set up, I wanted to be, so when the kids click it, it's not too boring. Go in and organize it. So one, just know that means when you go there, it's like, who moved my cheese? That main site is drastically different for you. That's number one. And then, you were talking about how you set stuff up. Really think about, how am I going to organize my class, right? And the importance of Dom he said it perfectly, that you archive your classes. Don't delete your classes. So that way you can go back and look. Now, the way I do it is I will set a date, Monday to Friday. And that's my header, and all the stuff I'm doing that week is there. And then the following week. And now even in Google Classroom, you can say, I only want to see this week when you're showing it to kids and you have it up on your screen. And that's how I choose to do it by week. But like I would say, Dom, in his class, it might be more of a unit structure, quite possibly. Even, maybe some teachers get down to a chapter structure, right? And that's where sometimes like the Schoology, the ability to do that is pretty great, right?
So I go day to day, mainly because attendance is an issue. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll pull things in, and I have some kids who, if I put the whole week up, they will be, by the end of before class on Tuesday, they will have gone home, worked through everything I had that week, and then they're sitting there. Not bad kids, but they're done for the week, and they may do something. We may change. With history, some things take longer. Something pops up, current event pops up, and we change, and they're already done with everything. So I go day to day, and that way with the kids who are absent, go back in. Everything is there. If parents have questions, because parents can access through Schoology, they have the login on the back end. Here's what we did every day. Here's the assignments. Here's the due dates. And I roll, like every day I roll something out. And I usually do like can't remember if it's a GIF or a GIF of the day.
I call it GIF, but yeah, everybody does different.
Yeah, I used to battle with my homeroom over that as to what the proper term was, because I always said it wrong, and I've just forgotten over the years.
That's funny. Yeah. Now, one thing that Google Classroom doesn't have that like a Schoology would have and Edmodo used to have, you can, correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't used it in a while, but you would have the ability again, let's say we went by unit, right? And I got done with unit A, you could actually then pull unit A away or hide it, right, from the kids, and then you, right?
I can put, what I do is I carry like a folder with past week's work or past week's information, because if you hide it, it takes it out of the grade book and messes up their grades. We found that out the hard way. So what you can do is take it off the main feed. The guy, here's this week. I give an overview. Here's what we're going to do this week in class. I have a little, it's called a page. Just here's what we're doing. A resource folder. All the resources that we've been using are in that folder. And then I go day by day folders with any assignments and whatnot. Then when that week is done, probably by Tuesday the following week, I push it into the folder that has all the previous work, and I have the new week at the top. But then like throughout, I'll pull up an old class. I'll show you in a second. Let me work on that. I'll throw this back to you and let you show the next thing.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, I thought, you know what? I wonder if they still have that old blog, right? The keyword blog. So and actually, it's just blog.google is the real basic where it's at. So let me quickly, obviously it's very full of a lot of the just different updates and things that are happening in Google. And I do know that PAECT is going to be talking about some AI training opportunities and things that we're going to be doing with Google. But again, so in that concept of what you're setting up, right? Going within, pulling in your items. And one of the big things is going into that archive classroom, making sure you're going to repost something brand new, but you're going to reuse it from an old classroom. And that's definitely one of the big things, like back in the day where the teacher would literally break out last year's 3-ring binder and then flip it open to find the lesson plans that were that week last year. Now we kind of have it digitally. And I jokingly used to always say I was never organized to pull that same week up and be in that same spot, because kids are just different, and my Italianisms get longer some years than others, and I'm kind of all over the place with a lot of that stuff. But so I just want to go into real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, and just again, I'm just gonna, walking into how things are changing, right? So I'm in my classwork. All right, create, and then we got our assignments, a quiz assignment, right? Just a question to poll everybody. Materials. I like to use materials. Make sure it's big enough for everybody to see. I apologize. I like to use that concept of materials to kind of be like, I let it sit on the top of my Google Classroom, and that's where I store all of my important links. Right? I like to put, so the kids know, hey, I'm in math class. We're using Prodigy Game. Oh, well, what's the link? What's the code? Every so often, I might have jumped on an old account I had. Instead of me having to reiterate it 5,000 times, did you go check the materials list in Google Classroom? That sits up at the top. So it doesn't get a topic. It doesn't get a date. It just sits right up there. And I like to put my important links in a material and I put them individually, because just like, sometimes as teachers, we don't necessarily read the whole email. Kids are kind of that same way, right? They're not going to click and open it and read all the different links that are in there, but making every one of them an individual link. It can be a lot of information at the top, but pretty good. This is where that reuse post is you're pulling from before. And again, Gemini Notebook, formerly Notebook LM. The artist formerly known as Notebook LM. But Gemini Notebook, they got that, front and center. And I'm going to tell you right now, as a classroom teacher, whether it be things to utilize in your classroom, period, or even organization, if you have not delved into creating gems, you've got to delve into creating gems. It is huge. What you can do. And then you go in the topic and you can add your different topics, even if you want to lay them all out, but just the ability to do that. So like I said, just kind of walking through that concept. There's just some, for me, as far as the organization goes, kind of walking through what you have available to you there. All right, let me kick it over to you, Dom. What do you got?
Okay, I'm going to go in and share my screen. This is what I currently have. Okay, this is my period 2. First class of the day. I have homeroom, then I have planning. So the side tabs, materials, updates, you get your grade book, how you set up your grades. I have to set my grades up because we use CSIU, so that's going to sync. We get a blank slate. So I base it off of what I do is if you go into courses, all of the courses you have are listed here, and you can adjust them. But I go into my courses and I go to archived. And these are courses from past years. I love the archived part because whenever I'm running assignments, I have different assignments I use. I don't always use the same ones year in and year out, but I get my ideas and I can go back. Like, how did I write that up? How was it set up? How many points was this? I'm adjusting things. This is from the end of school last year. So I get my GIF, past week's assignments, folders from weeks gone by. So kids can go in here and here's everything. Everything from throughout the year so they can go back through and find out whatever they need. I go back to the main screen. Then I have my contact information for me, important class links and resources. So I have a page with everything they need access to. I'm in the class is linked there. And it's also like I have for the assignments, you know, school was over. So I run like the week that way. Important links to resources. We covered class notes. So that takes you to Google Drive and the video forms, notebook, formerly known as Notebook LM. Now, Gemini Notebook. So I have the video notes and podcast notes there from the class so kids can access that and PDFs. The Bell schedules, because we run different schedules. My schedule, podcast side quests, which are optional. So that's how my main screen looks like with this. So on the front screen of every class, they have access to all the information they need. And I'll go through, if we go back to this, you know, my class isn't set up. So over the course of the next week, I'll put this in. My honors U.S. history classes, they had a summer reading project. So before they have an assignment due the first day of school, I'll have everything set up so they can start turning work in early if they want. Over the summer, I run my class podcast and I've had some kids not to get their work graded, but I put out a podcast. I email all the kids, optional side quests over the summer, some fun stuff, fun activities. But the kids that are doing the honor summer reading, if they have a question about their project, or if they want some advice, I won't grade their project, but I'll say, you know, they have the student checklist, they have the rubric. You know, if you want me to put eyes on it and give you some suggestions, I will. But Schoology isn't active over the summer. They can message me, but there are no classes. So I'll get that set up here in the next before they come into class so they can set stuff up so the first day isn't total chaos.
All right, just to have a little bit of fun, you know, let's look at this. They got when you're on the main site, right? You got your home, your calendar, resources, and then Gemini. I know we were talking about it. They got visual aids, Nano Banana, pulling in some different information. And again, this is all within ours is, you know, within the walls of the school in essence, right? All that data center, that data is all held within. If you want to create lesson plans, rubrics, and then if you want to start with the whole gem thing. So I was trying to figure out, okay, what can I leave people with? Okay, if you want to start with a prompt in Gemini in education, you can click on some of these, you know, create an image to spark discussion, pull up some different things. And then down here, there's specific. You just want to go straight to Nano Banana, create some images. You want to do education brainstorm, that guide on the side, the thinking partner, right? Create some customized gems, Google Notebooks. So when I went in to create an image, you know, Dom and I love having fun with each other. So Dom, did you ever imagine yourself as a gothic clay animated character?
Can't say that I have, but I wouldn't be against it.
Me, but there you go. That's pretty solid. There you go, buddy.
Yeah,
I like it. Kind of looks like, you know, the back, you know, I think, you know, the Steelers, they get lost in those doors and run up the stairs, and who knows what happens in the background. Yeah,
I got to give a shout out to Kevin, my neighbor Kevin, for giving me props on that. I'm going to put him up on the screen again.
Oh yeah, there he is. All
I did not pay him to make that comment.
You did. It's okay. It's all right. I hope I listen. I just hope he got the money before he made the comment. That's what he needs to pay up front. Pay up front. Figure that out. But yeah, so I think they're pulling in a lot of those cool tools. That image turned out pretty nice. And
Now,
yeah.
can you use some of those tools even if you're not a Google Classroom school?
Good question. I'm not sure exactly what levels they have that offered or not. But yeah, we could even let me go into our PACT account and let's try.
Because even if I could go in through my personal account and make some stuff and pull it over, I know a lot of the other tools, you can go in and do similar things, but it's nice being able to access, because all these tools that we've talked about this over and over and over and over again, all of these tools react differently. Some things do better, complete some tasks better than others. So being able to function across platforms and pull things in and pull them into, like Schoology doesn't have the ability to do all this stuff. So I pull stuff in through Canva. I'll go in through some other tools and pull things in. And, I always have, I'll do different, like Cold War. Last year we did Cold War coloring. I used a couple different, I think Color Bliss was the website. I made some images, and when I was out we had a family health emergency. If the kids got done, you color this, draw your own picture, draw a picture on this topic, or write something on this topic. Pencil and paper. You could use poster paper or the printer paper. Low tech, high tech, mix it up. That's the big thing for Misty. Not everything has to be on the computer. It's not screen time. It's intentionality of screen time that matters. So
that's the biggest thing. So to answer your question, a personal Gmail account is not associated. Google Classroom, when you go to create a class, it says you must be associated with a school. So that doesn't work. Now, our PACT account, nonprofit account work, but not everybody can roll out a nonprofit account to be able to do that. But so that unfortunately that was not able to work. And I agree with you 100%. Like our first several days, we're not handing out books. We're doing, kind of interest survey stuff, getting to know you stuff. I do feel bad because second day of school, I'll be moving my daughter, and I don't feel bad about moving her into college, but I'm missing the second day of school. So my sub will be kind of going over some of those routine things. But the first several days with the kids is always big, and I always work on trying to get to know them the best you can. As I get older, learning their names is tougher and tougher. So we've got a whole system for we have them make name cards, and they put in like favorite sport, favorite food, favorite outside of school activity, favorite class, kind of a deal. Favorite. I ask them favorite bearded teacher. There's not any other ones in our building, but I tend to see my name a lot.
Someday,
go ahead.
Someday you're gonna get a new Brighton transfer, and you'll be surprised.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's a long haul, but if that happens, I'll get them. But so it's a good way to get them kind of involved. But then their names are always there, and you can, because again, I said it's like you guys learn, your fact practice. I got to practice your name. As my coach, my football coach used to say, "You're a number till you give me a reason to know your name." Well, unfortunately, that's not, in football it was good. In the classroom, it may not be so good if you learn that kid's name real fast.
And that's one of the first things we do. It was at a summit, KTI summit. Someone brought up, this was years ago, do a Kahoot or some kind of review game about yourself. So first day of the kids for half hour, we do kids show up on time, but we have 2 hours of meetings. They go class meetings, rotate around to get, this is what's going on for the year. Then we have a half hour in homeroom. Then they go into a 2 hour delay schedule. So I get them for like 33 minutes. So you can't really do too much. Kind of touch base, see if they know where they're going, talk with them. And my honors kids will turn in their assignments. Then the next day I do a Kahoot or some sort of review game. And that's usually where we have fun. It's like, find out about me. And like, do I drink coffee or tea? What's my favorite coffee mug? Favorite types of music, Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings stuff. And we go back through and just back and forth and small talk, and it takes most of the period doing that, just to get to know them. And then they do a bit about me project. Sometimes we do it in like Canva or Google Slides. Cami has a nice poster that's easy to do. I'll do one with them, and just to get, so I get a feel for the kids, they get to know me, and builds that connection. And then we get into content shortly after.
Okay. Yeah.
It's nice. We have kids. We'll have them Thursday and Friday next week. So Thursday's a short day. Friday, it's a Friday. Do some fun activities, and then we ease into, start getting into content and doing stuff, getting kids signed up for things, practicing with the different tools. I'm a firm believer that this went back to whenever I was a reading specialist. If you're using a tool that the kids aren't familiar with, are you assessing their use of the tool, or are you assessing the content that you're trying to use that tool to assess? And if they don't understand the tool, you're not going to get an accurate read on, do they know what you're talking about? So I always, before we roll out a tool that we're using majorly for an assessment, we play with it in class, let the kids run with it, let them ask questions. It's only fair to them. I mean, think about it. If your administration gave you something and said, here, and oh, by the way, you haven't seen this before, but I'm going to come in and observe you using it in the classroom, you'd be all bent out of shape. So it's only fair to, give the kids some practice time before you start using it for, counting towards a grade.
Well, one of the takeaways kind of going with that from the convocation, and very similar to Tom Murray when he was presenting at Pete and C, and fortunate to have him at KTI as well. When he said, what are you going to do today to make them want to come back tomorrow? Mm-hmm. Which I leaned over to my partner and said, yeah, I got that nailed. And when I tell them I'm not coming the second day, they're all going to be fired up. Even if I'm the worst teacher on Thursday, they got somebody brand new Friday. They're going to love it. We'll see if they show up Monday. But yeah, so, but that, that's a good point. Like, again, what are you investing in your time, or what are you investing in them, or in checking boxes in your syllabus? Like, it's not about that anymore. Those times are done. It's a whole new scenario. And we've learned a lot with Steve Robertson. We're hoping to get him on the show down the road again. But that filter, the kids have that 7-second filter. Am I in, or am I not in this class? It's a different generation. So yeah, but if you haven't read that Aliens Among Us, 10 Truths About Gen Z, it's important. Yeah. So good.
The beauty of a non-test, well, we do a civics assessment at the end of the year, state civics assessment, but it's pretty much review for what they've already learned. It's basic knowledge that you would think. So it's very low stress. But being that I'm not a tested subject in the way some like math and science are, and language, reading, 10th grade reading, literature, it's stress-free. So like there's times I've come in and the computers are down, or the website isn't working, or the computers are working, but there's a glitch. Someone hit a pole on the way to the IU, so our internet feed's down. I can be like, you know what? This isn't working for whatever reason. It could be human error on my part, or it's just, this isn't as good of an idea as I thought it was. You know what? Let's reset. We're going to do something different. And I can just shift and go low tech, or go, low tech isn't, kids aren't into it. Well, let's try this. And that's the beauty of the subject I teach. I have that freedom to adjust, where tested subjects, you have to definitely check all the boxes to get ready for April. So I love that freedom, and there's days I've come in and, like you said, it just ain't working. I'm like, what, guys, I've had kids, this isn't, I'm like, we'll push the due date back a day. They're like, what do you mean? I go, I thought it was going to be easier. You guys are into it, but we're struggling to create this project or do whatever. And like, well, you said it was due Thursday. I'm like, right. I says, now it's going to be due. Let's make it Monday. And they're like, how can you do that? I'm like, who said the due date? Like, you did. This. So I have the power to change it. Like, as long as you're working, we'll adjust, because we don't have a test in April that they have to have everything in by. So I appreciate it. I adjust, and you have to be flexible. And I hate to admit it.
Yeah.
In my younger days, I probably was not as flexible. It's like, you learn.
Yep. Yeah. It's, I feel like that's a sliding scale of year to year too. Some years you're like, you staunch, some years you're a little bit more lenient, and who knows? There's multiple conversations to be had about all of that. But yeah.
Well, I look at it this way. If they're goofing around, I don't give them the extra time. If they're working and they need it, okay. That's fair. And I have to say our administration is pretty good about things. If we have like certain stuff to turn in, and okay, I've been goofing around and I'm like, not doing what I'm supposed to be doing and ask for extra time, they're not going to be happy with me. But
sure.
If we're doing stuff and plans change, stuff happens, they've been fairly consistent with, you know what, we'll work with you because you're trying. And that's something to pass on.
And I listen, in my old age, I'm more on that, even though I'm not flexible, I'm on the flexible side of how I do it. But I'm saying they post in the comments. I'm curious because I know, again, there's teachers on all sides of the spectrum of all of that, where they sit. And again, like you said, sometimes there's some stuff breathing down some different teachers' necks, and sometimes you got the freedom to do some stuff. But yeah, good stuff. All right. Well, I think we need to talk a little bit about what's going on in PAECT. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea.
All right, let's get some updates. Oh, come on now. Hold on. Got to pull up the screen.
Well, while you're pulling up the screen,
go ahead.
If you are a PAECT premium member, keep watching your email. We are a partner with ISTE. PA Edge is a partner with ISTE for our premium members and PA Edge members. We are working on some collaborative Google/ISTE AI training. It will be free for ASC or PA Edge and PAECT premium members. So once we have more information on that, we will be sending it out to membership. Melissa Krenzer, give it a shout out there. Show them we are human, which is true. We are. Although I like to mess with the kids and I'll put videos up where I'll glitch you in TikTok and stuff and try and make them think I'm an AI generated creature, cyborg.
AI gone wrong. Good stuff. Yeah, so that's good. That's why I had the old now I gotta find again. That was a good bit of breaking news. Busted out there. So yeah, information to be coming for premium members. Love it. All right, so now let's switch gears. So let's talk about a little PAECT. So we're going to the Glide show with our Adobe Express account here. So we're going to crank through. All right, don't be too sad as we scroll past the waves. June, July, the Saturday and Sunday, or the Friday, Saturday of the summer. We're finishing out the Sunday of summer. So yet to achieve there, I think we've had all of that. Yeah, we are past all of those dates. Let's look forward here. Oh, what's going on? We gotta have a little conversation. We don't have the Glide show filled out. I'm gonna blame Jeremy.
The calendar is.
Right, let's go to the calendar. All right, here we go. So we got the book club happening at 8:00 here. Playing with Purpose. All right, I know Dom's been attending that. It seems like it's been well attended. 38 people registered. So Playing with Purpose, universal design for learning in an age of change.
Even if you just go and lurk, it's well worth it.
All right, then 7 p.m. So we are going to be featuring building classroom community through tech. All right, in our pod. And then, so that's our first episode. Our second episode is managing parent-teacher meetings. So getting ready for that time of year that we all love. All right. And then that's what let's see if there's anything else.
Northwest has an event coming up. I believe
we got some things on the Northwest has the Educator Exhale on the 10th. And then South Central has a back to school bash. So let's see. All right. So the event, Mechanistic Brewing happening in the Northwest. So they'll have more information coming.
Clarion.
And then South Central, we won't blame Jeremy. He's got his filled out here. So South Central back to school bash at the Goat Brewing Company. I like to say the Bearded Goat. I guess they changed the name to Goat Brewing Company. Oh, there it is. Yep, it's called Bearded Goat. All right. And for the record, I am not registered yet, but I will be attending. That's a great one. And then we got the Manager Parent Teacher Conference, and then our virtual board meeting happening next week. So that's what we got. What's coming up in September, creeping into that October time. So a lot of good stuff happening. And hopefully, if you've started your school year, hopefully it's going well. And if you're staring down the barrel, getting ready to get started, we hope it's going to be a great year for you.
Yeah, it's that time of year where summer is over, school's starting. Any suggestions for the pod? Get them our way, pod@paect.org. You want to tell us what you're doing? Let us know.
Yep. Yeah. You want to be featured. We're going to have some different guests, some different PAECT members get on the pod to share what they're doing in their classroom. Because again, it's kind of, I love the fact of ed camps, which now they're calling them more, what do they call it? I forget, creative labs or whatever. They're kind of doing a rebranding. But when they say the smartest person in the room is the room, and that's what we feel too. We want to get some of the most amazing educators in the U.S. that happen to be focused in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Love to get you on the show and have you talk about what you're doing in your room. So, all right, man. Well, listen, as always, I think it's time to roll things off because we got some football to watch. We got some stuff to do in the classroom. So
Friday night, Steelers second game.
Oh, is it? Okay. All right. Yeah.
Preseason game.
I haven't even looked at the Dolphins schedule. I have no clue. No clue.
Anyway,
all right, man. I need to do that. Right here, you are correct. But as always, Dom, PAECT.
We are
the voice of EdTech in Pennsylvania.
And
be
on.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. We truly appreciate you. Have a great September.
Take care, everybody.
PAECT and the PAECT Pod would like to thank these following sponsors. Thank you to our Tier 3 sponsors. Lego Education, inspiring playful, hands-on learning that helps every student build confidence, creativity, and real-world STEM skills. Thank you to our Tier 2 sponsors. ClassLink, making learning accessible with simple, secure, one-click access to everything students and teachers need. Teachers First, supporting thinking teachers, teaching thinkers with free classroom-ready resources for every learner. EduSpire, empowering schools with innovative technology solutions that streamline systems and elevate the learning experience. PAECT and the PAECT Pod would like to thank our KTI Summit sponsors. CADpractice.com, helping students build real-world CAD skills through guided practice, instant feedback, and hands-on design challenges. DRC, providing reliable, high-stakes assessment solutions that help educators make informed, data-driven decisions. Forward Education, bringing hands-on STEM and AI learning to classrooms through purposeful, real-world coding experiences. Gettysburg College, inspiring students to do great work through rigorous academics, leadership, and a community built on purpose. Note, empowering students and teachers with fast, AI-powered study tools that make learning more effective. A heartfelt thank you from PAECT and the PAECT Pod to our outstanding sponsors. Your commitment fuels our work and strengthens our mission to be the voice of education technology in Pennsylvania and beyond. Together, we're shaping the future of learning. And again, thank you.